Not everybody feels this way about, handheld gaming, but there is an extremely popular subset of gamers who do. I mean, look at the Switch. And personally, if you ask me, like, I'm not even all that stressed about handheld gaming, portable gaming on the go. At the end of the day, bro, if I can game while I'm taking a dump, man, I'm happy. You feel me? Let's go! First up of the day, boy, and I'm taking this shit, bruh. Boys, it has been a freaking minute. This takes me back. This is gonna be great. We're gonna have a fun time today. My OGs know, and there's actually a lot of you out there that are still sticking around, so shout out to y'all. But if you don't know, if you're new to this channel, we started as a PSP handheld channel, man. Back in the day, 2011, bro. That's so crazy to think about. And so when it comes to this topic, I mean, you can say I know some things, you know what I'm saying? I know what I'm talking about, you feel me? Steam Deck. Man, this ain't no Steam Deck, this is the PS Vita 2. When I saw the Steam Deck, man, all I thought about was the PlayStation Vita. 4 weeks ago, the Steam Deck was announced with 3 models. The 64GB at $399, the 256GB at $529, and what I like to call the Big Pockets Edition, the 512GB at $649. There is one singular factor that has made the Steam Deck more appealing on the surface to my eyes, and that is no proprietary components. God bless, bro. Oh my lord. Yo, check this out. It has been 9 years, and a 32GB memory card from Sony on Amazon is still to this day going for yes, I just said so, 266 United States American dollars. What in God's name is going on? Bro, I can search for a 32GB memory card, SD card, as low as $699. Disgusting. That is utterly disgusting. That's illegal. That should be illegal. And that is one of many reasons why the Vita failed. But we're not going to get into all of that today. That's a whole other video. As I was just seeing all the news about the Steam Deck, all I could think about was how they are doing what Sony was trying to position the Vita was going to do. If you hear someone say the Vita was ahead of its time, there is no statement that could be any more true, but that is the problem. It was way too early. But don't get it twisted, boys. 2012, 2013, when Killzone Mercenary was first revealed, and they told us it was a handheld console playing this game, bro, that felt like the second coming of Jesus. Like, let's really think about this idea. Any Vita game that was graphically impressive was a native Vita title. This thing was a powerhouse if you compared it to this little guy for sure. And you ask me, bro, my boys knew I was always pushing that agenda. I was like, look at this weak ass thing. Why would you want to play on this when you got this? But even with all that being said, technology simply was just not at the right point to support their approach. Trying to market it as a console quality experience on the go was a downfall as well for the Vita. Cause like they sort of delivered. Killzone Mercenary, Uncharted Golden Abyss. But like those titles needed a lot of love and dedication to make it even the thing. While putting this video together, I found this article about Killzone Mercenary, and it was interesting to understand and see that they could actually just simply copy and paste assets from Killzone 3 and put them in a Mercenary. And then the things that couldn't be copy and pasted definitely needed attention. They needed optimization and a lot of. I know we said we're not going to get into this, but it's important. It's important to talk about. If you think about it right now, especially today, Sony was structured in a completely drastically different way. And honestly, it hurt them in the long run. They had their main studios that we all know today making their console games. And then they started setting up their small studios to begin producing some Vita titles. I'll name a few. Ben Studio. If you ask me, the most recent game outside of Days Gone that I know they made is Uncharted Golden Abyss. Japan Studio. Now, honestly, their structure dates back to the PSP days. Games like Loco Roco, Patapon, they're very team-centered, right? They set up teams and they focus on titles. This is essentially how it was structured during the Vita's time, but their teams were focused on Vita games. Think of Team Gravity, Gravity Rush, Freedom Wars, or Soul Sacrifice. Guerrilla Cambridge made Killzone Mercenary, then Zipper Interactive, RIP, made Unit 13. Pointing all this out because this is really where the Steam Deck is a true spectacle to me. Firstly, it's freaking Valve. Yes, they made games and they honestly still are making games, but they are first and foremost a video game distribution service. So when you think of the Steam Deck, they're just making this device to let you play your already owned games on the go. And so from here, this removes the need for them to have to support it in all sense of the term, besides software updates to kind of maintain a good user experience. So at this point, they only got to focus on one thing because it's a singular investment. And this is a similar structure to Nintendo and the Switch. Think about it. One studio makes a game for one system. The system just has more than one usage. When it comes to the hardware itself, the Steam Deck is a PC, right? But that doesn't mean it's not a gaming device. And if you really think about it, what have all of our devices turned into? Multimedia devices. I have a friend whose parents, they don't game, but they bought a PS4 because of this reason. It could play Blu-ray, it could be a web browser as well, and it has all of their streaming services. Think about it. But when I think about the Vita, man, you know, it was past the issues, it is a very sleek device. Like, it feels very good to hold in your hands. And for the most part, everybody agrees with me with that statement. But there are still like about 2 features specifically that we all wanted. That would be clickable joysticks, maybe 3 because we wanted bigger joysticks, but at the basic, clickable joysticks and an L3 and R3 button. Wanna know who does have all that and more? The Steam Deck. Now ain't that the truth? Low key, bro, when I was planning out this video, the title for this section, it literally just popped into my head and I had no idea where it came from. I was like, what the hell am I saying? But I do have a point. The reason PlayStation was uninterested in a successor for our beloved PlayStation Vita comes from the mouth of President of Worldwide Studios back in 2015, Shuhei Yoshida.
Hi Shuhei, thank you for being here. One question, I'm a big fan of this beauty, the PlayStation Vita. Yep. Do you see any future for handheld consoles? Maybe a PS Vita 2 or something like that?
That's a tough question, because people have, mobile phones, smartphones, and it's so easy to just play games on smartphones, and most of games on smartphones are free, right? Free to start.
That's count.
Now listen, at the time, I was on board with this statement. Think about it. The amount of stuff that was coming out in 2015 for phones, it was getting discussed. I'm like, yo, how are we playing this stuff on a phone? So I understand his point to an extent. But that is not the core reason as to why the Vita failed. Nintendo was right there, showing us firsthand that there is still a market for dedicated handheld gaming. If we do look at stats, they do show us that the Vita and 3DS sold less than their predecessors. But history repeats itself. There's a large set of gamers who have and will always enjoy the whole portability aspect of gaming. But in my opinion, I feel like technology is usually the block. Not everybody feels this way about handheld gaming, but there is an extremely popular subset of gamers who do. I mean, look at the Switch. And personally, if you ask me, I'm not even all that stressed about handheld gaming, portable gaming on the go. At the end of the day, bro, if I can game while I'm taking a dump, man, I'm happy. You feel me? Let's go! First up of the day, boy, and I'm taking a shit, bro. I don't know what happened, but when I was putting this video together, my brain went on this crazy tangent, and I began doing some extensive research about how the most popular handhelds we know performed back in the day. And this is where I saw a pattern. When the Game Boy dropped, it sort of shocked the world. Between the Game Boy and Game Boy Color, they sold a whopping 118 million units worldwide back in 1989. It's like this new experience just shocked the world. I don't even know. From there, we saw a bit of a decline as time went on. The Game Boy Advance went down, but still performed pretty well at 81 million units, whereas the SP dropped down to 41 million units. But it is important to note, around this time, Microsoft and Sony joined into the fray, right? So I don't know if the shift from majority Nintendo shifted over to kind of those three or what, but that's just a guess. But I do know one thing for sure, and that's technology was advancing. And I think it just left behind what you were able to make and create and experience in the palm of your hand. But history repeats itself, boys. Technology continues and improves, opening up the door for more opportunity in the handheld space. To be honest, I feel like this is where Nintendo began finding their own niche. That being by offering unique experiences. The Nintendo DS dropped and it was honestly the Game Boy timeline times 2. Selling 154 million units, making it the second best-selling console of all time, behind the PS2. Good to know that the PSP dropped around this time and was sitting at around 80 million, which is pretty damn good. And again, we see a decline after that surge. The 3DS was able to hit around 75 million across their 5 versions, while the Vita's numbers are a bit unclear, but the estimate is around 16 million, which is a number coming from 2018. But again, what happens? Did you say it? History repeats itself. Ask the wrong person and you're going to get yelled at for calling this a handheld device, and they're going to say it's a hybrid. But at the end of the day, what is the biggest appeal of the system and what is the most valuable feature? It's portability. I don't think I gotta convince anybody about the Switch's success. It's pretty clear, but to add some context around it, in a year and a half, it has outsold the Vita, and in just 4 years, it has outsold the 3DS, currently sitting at 89 million units sold. And to come full circle, the Steam Deck is offering an experience that, in my opinion, has just solidified the idea that dedicated handheld gaming devices will never go away. Ever.
Prior today to right now, like everything would have either been underpowered or unwieldy, and only now has the technology gotten to a point where it does fit.
We have reached the point where not only do we have a portable PC in our hands, which could be seen as a tablet, but a portable gaming PC, where there is yet to be a modern game that the Steam Deck can't handle. Per Valve's words. I didn't say that shit. With that being said, this is my statement.
It's time for the moment you've been waiting for.
Alright, so listen. This is the last time we're gonna talk about the Vita. It's just such a good blueprint of what not to do with a handheld gaming device. You know what I'm saying? As we went over, Sony had to restructure themselves in order to produce high quality games for both their console and their handheld device. And I don't think I gotta explain that that's not a cheap endeavor by any means. Imagine setting up a AAA studio to make AAA games but not see AAA returns. That's why they bowed out of first-party development very early, only 4 years in. At this point, game dev has taken upwards of 3 years, which is how long an ambitious title like Freedom Wars took. Out of curiosity, I looked up what PSP game development looked like. And I learned that, a normal average title had no less than 15 to 20 people, whereas a high-end PSP title, we're talking like 70. So if a high-end PSP title takes 70 people, what do you think a mediocre to high-end Vita title would take? Right? Again, it all begins with their aggressive approach. Like when you think about it, the PSP was a successful handheld, especially when you think and realize that it was their first. So I kind of understand where this bullish ideals came from, because the PSP was already light years stronger than the DS. So I kind of get it. Console quality gaming on the go. But like, think about the PSP. Right? It was not trying to disrupt the handheld gaming market as we know it. No, bro. They were just trying to get a console out there, make some smaller but fulfilling titles to complement their already established first-party IPs. Think of God of War, think of SOCOM, think of Metal Gear Solid, although that wasn't first-party. The key in all this is not alienating your fan base, but combining them. Think about it today. There is not a single company that manages more than one hardware. Some of y'all gonna be sticklers, Xbox Series S and the Xbox One. They're all the same shit, man. And then if we're honing on Nintendo, man, they couldn't compete in the console market. So they were just like, okay, let's make both. On top of that, not having to buy your game separately is another major key, bro. Think about the Switch. Every game has to work in portable mode and docked mode. At the end of the day, the Steam Deck just lets you take your humongous Steam library that you will never finish in your lifetime on the go. But more importantly, the bathroom.
Y'all are some bots, man. What the hell?
And that's where my stance comes from, right? I think this device will succeed. And again, we're just at this point with technology that I don't think there is anything that we can't make work in a portable environment in terms of gaming. I personally see the Steam Deck as an accumulation of the lessons learned from past handheld devices fit into what seems like a pricey box. But the value it offers is truly unprecedented. At the end of the day, the target demographic is for the mature, true gaming audience. They got money. They got money. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. The last part of this video is to tie the knot. You know, why do I think that the Steam Deck is the PlayStation Vita's success? The Steam Deck is a very bulky son of a gun, and I think it really makes the compactness of the Vita shine even more. But let's forget all that, man. Let's forget all that for a second. If you look at the gaming industry, it's beginning to evolve again, man. Something that I'm always saying is how the industry is, honestly, it's controlled by consoles. Forget what your PC elitism thinks. Consoles rule the gaming industry. They're the most consumer friendly and the easiest to get into gaming. You buy a box, you plug it in, you start gaming. But as the lust for graphics, for ray tracing, for 60 FPS continues to grow, the gap between consoles and PC becomes more and more clear.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
And we're already seeing that change today. The two bigwigs, Sony and Microsoft, every day they show more love and appreciation to the PC community. When we think about, non-first party titles, we're seeing the same thing. Most games at this point release on a console, whether it's one console or the other, PC is always secondary, right? It's kind of, what is it? Console war neutral. It's not part of that, you feel me? And if they eventually go to PC, that means Steam, meaning you can play it on your Steam Deck. No issues. And so when I think about y'all, man, I'm thinking about games like God Eater. I'm thinking about games like Persona 4 Golden. I'm thinking about games like Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Complete Edition. All of those started exclusive to a specific console, but made their way to PC. And at the end of the day, boys, was Sony even supporting this thing? No. So why do you want them to make something else? Rather have someone else make it, and they'll focus on it, and then we just get the games. You feel me? It's a win-win situation in my opinion. But with that being said, that's all I gotta say. Very, very, very interested in knowing what your thoughts are around the Steam Deck and around what I've presented in this video. So with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace. I freaking hit my mic. Y'all don't even see the mic, so you don't even know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm out.